Okay.
Okay, sir. Alive. It gives me an immense pleasure to extend to you a very warm welcome on behalf of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India and Karpagam Academy of Higher Education, who has clubbed all of us for the 1 week online faculty development program. Now, I welcome our Chief of Honor, CA G. Ramasamy, past President of ICAI, Honorable Dr. Sudalaimuthu, Vice Chancellor, Karpagam Academy of Higher Education, respected management, respected chairman of Coimbatore branch CAKS Shanmugam, special guest vice chairman of SIRC CAK Jalabadi, respected registrar, Karpagam Academy of Higher Education, Dr. N.V. Balaji, Dean, Faculty of Arts, Sciences and Humanities, participants from various universities and colleges, research scholars, head of the departments, professors, and coordinator of the faculty development program, faculty members of Karpagam Academy of Higher Education, learned delegates from corporate and academy. A very good evening to one and all present here. Good evening. I welcome. Hello.
Yes, continue.
Hello.
Yes, continue, madam.
Yeah. I am privileged to welcome you all once again, on behalf of the Institute of Chartered Accountant of India and Karpagam Academy of Higher Education to the 1 week online faculty development program. Well, Dean William R. once said, the aim of education is the knowledge, not of fact, but of values. It is on occasions like this we get opportunities to test our knowledge and understanding. We look forward to get an exposure about what the best of the brains think about this very dynamic issue of emerging trends in financial reporting. I now request Dr. K. Jodi to deliver the welcome address. Dhamaraj sir? Hello? Hello? Jyoti ma'am?
Madam, நீங்களே வெல்கம் பண்ணி முடிச்சங்க மேடம்.
Okay sir, okay sir.
Sir, Shanmugam sir.
Yes, sir.
நீங்க ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணுங்க. நீங்க
Okay.
Sir, one second.
Yeah. Please carry on, madam.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Shall we start?
Yes, sir. Shanmugam sir, நீங்க start.
Very good evening to all. அன்னச்சத்திரம் 1000 வைத்தல், ஆலயம் 10,000 நட்டல், பின்னருள்ள தர்மங்கள் யாவும் பெயர் விளங்கி ஒளிர, அன்ன யாவனும் புண்ணியம் கோடி ஆங்கோர் ஏழைக்கு எழுத்தறிவித்தல். A teaching profession is a noble profession in the world. Very good evening to all my professional colleagues and Vice Chancellor of Karpagam University and all the professors of the Karpagam University and various college professors, lecturers and department HODs. On behalf of Coimbatore branch of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, I am very happy to participate in the faculty development programs. In today's world, knowledge updation is highly essential, particularly for those in teaching profession. The reason is that today student exposure is highly increased and they are highly informed. If teachers don't update themselves, then they will be lagging behind the students. In order to enhance the skill set of faculties, we from ICAI are happy to associate with Karpagam Academy of Higher Education for the faculty development program. We strongly believe that this faculty development program will not only enhance the expertise of faculties, but will also go a long way in molding them in line with contemporary requirements. Continuous learning is the process of learning new skills and knowledge on an ongoing basis. This can come in many forms, from formal course taking to casual social learning. It involves self initiatives and taking on challenges. Continuous learning can also be within an organization, or it can be personal, such as lifelong learnings. In these few words, I very much thanks to the faculty development programs. Wish you all the best. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Very respected.
I wish to welcome our CA.K. Jalapati sir, Vice Chairman, Southern India Regional Council of ICAI, to give a keynote address.
Very respected. Under the pride of Chartered Accountants Fraternity, the first president of ICAI from non-metros, C.G. Ramaswamy, respected Dr. N.V. Balaji, Dean, Faculty of Arts, Science and Humanities of Karpagam Academy of Higher Education, Chairman of Coimbatore Branch of ICAI, C.A.K. Shanmugam, members of Organizing Committee, Dr. K. Jodi, Dr. Dharmaraj, Dr. R. Velmurugan, Professor Radha, resource person of the day, C.A. Chinnaswamy Ganesan, and the faculties of various colleges. Very good evening to all of you. It most gratifying, and at the same time, I am beholden to the organizers for inviting me to participate in this inaugural program of this week-long faculty development program. Let me compliment and congratulate the organizers for conceiving, designing, and structuring the subjects in such a way that the most significant and enduring areas in the field of business studies are encompassed as a unique model in the capsules form to make the sessions informative, interesting, and educative for the faculties. It's also heartening that it's a great honor for me to share some of my thoughts amongst the elite academicians and in the gracious presence of our beloved past president of ICAI and one of the doyens of our profession, C.G. Ramaswamy. I am proud to share amongst you that this proactive step paved the way for the ICAI to hold the faculty development program on all India basis for the regular periodicity. I am also pleased to note that from the program schedule, that the eminent personalities have been invited to be the resource persons and to speak on one of the aspects of recent advances in business studies. Each day beginning from today up to 30th of August. I am confident that each one of their sharing of thoughts and wisdom would be a delight for you to hear. Faculty development program is one of the important activity for every institution because the faculty plays a very vital and a pivotal role in shaping the career of a student. It is therefore most appropriate that management of Karpagam Academy of Higher Education have chosen to organize this faculty development program to the faculties of various colleges and universities across southern India. It's the faculty who is the responsible and empowered to guide, mold, and motivate the younger generation. This exercise on the part of management, therefore, needs a special mention that appreciation as the program would sharpen the skills and competencies of the faculty of the institution, which in turn transform the future of the students' community. I came to know that more number of faculties across the southern India have registered for this program. It's a great signal to our country. Faculties of India want to learn new things, adapt new changes, and wish to update the happenings around them. There has been advancement happening in every learning activity of across the globe, especially in the field of business studies. Globalized business environment is therefore imperative that each one of us should be abreast of the development and the changes that are going through, especially in Indian context. Therefore, we have to understand the far-reaching implications. I am therefore confident that this program would have desired effect of reorienting the participants' approach and understanding of the subject of discussion in the next 6 days of intensive deliberations. We have to see the faculty development program with the multi-dimensional objectives. One of the important objectives of the faculty development program would be make the faculty of institution more skilled, thereby transferring the acquired knowledge on newer aspects deliberated at such program and transforming their students to approach their studies in a more coherent and cohesive manner. It also would make the faculty to integrate their teaching methodology with a new perspective, insights, the value addition they derived to a newer way of learning combined with the innovative teaching element by attending this kind of faculty development program. Even this will reorient the faculty institution's objective and vision. Every institution has their own mission and vision, setting its priorities on the basis of founding principles. It is therefore important that the institution should at regular intervals organize the program to make them align with the management goal. Program of this nature undoubtedly provide them a common platform to interact with the learned personalities and amongst their colleagues. Their deliberations would refer their thoughts and approach in their work profile. In addition to this, these kind of programs would help the faculty to find their work balance, also can learn and acquire to enhance and enrich their knowledge and to transfer it to their students. Today's subject discussion, emerging trends in financial reporting, is one of the dynamic component in the field of accounting profession. The initiative taken by the organizers in conducting this program is highly laudable, and the selection of topics of contemporary and futuristic areas is very commendable. I take this opportunity to express my sincere thanks to all the resource persons. I am sure their presence and the dissemination of their expertise would ignite the minds of the participants to the greater levels. I once again extend my appreciation to the entire team of Coimbatore branch and the Dr. Dharmaraj, and his entire team of Karpagam Academy of Higher Education for their sustained efforts and for making excellent arrangement to the conduct of this program, even under the trying circumstances due to impact of COVID pandemic. I wish you all a very happy, fruitful, purposeful, and enlightening sessions all through the days. Thank you for this great opportunity.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir. I would like to welcome our Dean, sir, Dr. N.V. Balaji, the Dean, Faculty of Arts and Science, who is a doctorate in computer science and who is having rich corporate and academic experience. I would like to welcome him for giving inaugural address.
Thank you, Dharmaraj. Respected Shanmugam sir, respected Jalapati sir, respected Ramaswamy sir, and my beloved organizers, Jyoti madam, Dharmaraj, Radha madam, and everybody. It gives me immense pleasure to give the inaugural address at a very prestigious event like this, a session like this. Actually, the topic is recent advances in business studies. The most essential and the most required topic at this point of time. Always, when I'm a computer person, when I think a business is something which is evolving around the customer. So what sort of comfort, convenience, satisfaction that we give it to our customer, that is what is business all around. So when we talk about that, always the technology comes first today, because all those customized and satisfied deliveries which we are giving to the business is evolving around the technologies what we are using. Even today, this virtual meeting or the virtual webinar what we are doing is a fruitful impact of the technology. Right? Once the computers along with the internet was introduced to the world, the entire world has become the global village. It is not a big big part that it was seen as it is before the introduction of the internet. Once the internet era has come, then the entire world has become the global village. All of us able to communicate with each other as like what we are sitting next to each other. And when I tell my students about how to acquire the information, knowledge, or the skill, I always used to say, Google is your God, the information God, right? Whatever you ask to the God of Google, it will give you. So information or the knowledge is like an ocean which is available on internet. That itself is a very good example of how the world has advanced in terms of acquiring the information or knowledge, right? So this is once again this is a very good initiative by the organizers. because always I have a small experience with the corporates also in the field of training and placement officer. When I go and approach the industries, always the industry tells that there is a gap, sir, because between what you have given to your students and what we are expecting in the industry, there is really a very 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 good gap in between. So always we request the industries to come and participate in enabling the faculty members to reduce the gap, because whatever the end product that we produce from students to employees, those employees will become the employees of the organizations who has to work according to the requirements of the current scenario of the industries. When the faculty members or the academic people doesn't know what is happening in the industry or what needs to be equipped to the students, we cannot equip them, we cannot embed them the skill sets what the industry demands or what the industry requires at present. That is what Jalapati sir very clearly said. The teachers are the enablers of the requirement of the industry. Whatever the industry requires, that needs to be enabled or embedded to the student, so as to become more readily employable in the industry. That is possible only through the teaching community, right? So for enabling the teaching community about the what is the recent advancement which is happening in every industry, every domain, the webinars and the the knowledge sharing sessions like this is very very important. Without these kind of knowledge sharing sessions, it is not possible for teaching community to understand what is happening in the industry, right? If you ask me frankly, I studied computer science before 20 years, but still I'm updating myself in the field of computer science. Otherwise I'll be obsolete product. I cannot teach my student how he or she has to behave in the industry, and how or he or she has to skill themselves in order to get ready or gear up for the industrial expectations. So thank you all. Thank you all. I thank all the eminent personalities who have agreed upon to share their knowledge on this stage. And definitely, this is going to open a very big knowledge sharing forum in between the industry experts and the teaching fraternity. Once again, I thank the organizers for giving me an opportunity to give the inaugural address on this biggest occasion, which I feel, right? Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir. Have a pleasant evening. And I would like to introduce CAG Ramaswamy sir. Is the first president of ICAI of India from Coimbatore. He is practicing chartered accountant for more than 35 years. He is a company secretary and a honorary member of many international bodies like AIA, ICA Australia, CPA Australia, IBBI, and he is the advisory committee chairman of Indian Institute of Insolvency Professionals of ICAI. He is also a past board member of IFAC, International Federation of Accountants, USA. He is a global organization for the accounting professions, comprising of over 175 members in more than 130 countries. He is representing more than 3 million accountants in public practice and education, government service, industry, and commerce. He was the chairman of Coimbatore branch of ICAI, Southern India Regional Council of ICAI, chairman of Coimbatore branch of ICSI. He is also a member of Institute of Internal Auditors in UK and served as a member of Board of Governor of IIA Madras chapter. He is a dynamic speaker with expertise on wide range of subjects encompassing subjects like accounting, auditing, corporate law, income tax, service tax, company law, corporate governance, etc. I welcome you, sir, Honorable Auditor CAG Ramaswamy, sir, for this wonderful evening.
Sir, mute. மியூட்ல இருக்கீங்க சார். சார் மியூட்ல இருக்கு.
Okay. Right. Very respected Vice Chairman of the Southern India Regional Council and my good friend, Mr. Jalapati, the Chairman of the Coimbatore branch and very dynamic personality, working very hard in this pandemic situation, spreading the knowledge of our accounting profession as well as the commerce among many chartered accountants, students, and common people. Dear friends, it will be a great pleasure. The Karpagam Institute of Higher Studies, the Dean, Mr. Balaji, Mr. Dharmaraj, and the Vice Chancellor, Mr. Sudalai Muthu, and the host of other committee members, galaxy of the participants from various colleges, professors, teaching faculties, and my friends. At the outset, I must thank the organizers who have given me this opportunity to participate this wonderful event organized jointly with the Coimbatore branch of ICA along with the Karpagam Institute of Higher Studies. Especially I must compliment the team leaders, Mr. Jalapati as well as Shanmugam from the Chartered Accountant side. They have taken a number of steps to see this program should be very useful and purposeful to all the faculties. Today we can say Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Deva, Guru Maheshwara. Every faculty, teachers are gods today. They can shape the young minds, provide a greater skills to the students so that we can get the very good citizens for this country to promote the economy, health, and every aspect of this nation. So we must salute all the faculties who are taking lot of their time for teaching the young minds, directing them towards the right direction for the development of the nation. The teachers are all to be treated as God. They are all called together Brahma, Vishnu, and Maheshwara. That is why we have to salute the teachers every time. Nobody will forget their teacher who has given that a great support for learning the various aspects in the life. Apart from this, the students, the faculties are providing support to the poor and downtrodden to learn more. Very recently, you must have seen in the newspapers, every nook and corner, the poor and downtrodden family is able to produce the IAS, IPS, and newly qualified, many of them from the higher position from the UPSC examinations. The foundation laid by the faculties, they have become a very strong leaders for this country to provide support to this nation. We have also seen that the new educational policy has been announced by the government, is now under the debate in every mind, every corner, every place. So that is also going to give a new input for the country for its further growth. The faculties are very important. Nobody knows on 31st December 2019, everyone we celebrated the new year on 12 o'clock midnight. We welcomed the year 2020 with wholeheartedly, with the great expectations. In fact, I've seen many TV channels, the great astrologers appeared in the channel. They said, the Kadagarasikarar Indrum Melaga Varuvar, Maharasikarar Melaga Varuvar, Nadu Subicham Varum, Endallam Sunar. So we have seen that every aspect of the astrology predicted that 2020 is a great year. In fact, the whole January, we have enjoyed the life of this 2020 year. It started slowly from the Wuhan city of China, and is all over the world now. The COVID is a buzzword in the minds of every citizens, every person, every human beings. So that entire scenario changed in the life of the people in this country, in the world. Nobody knows that they are not going to attend the classes in the classrooms. Nobody predicted that everyone is going to wear mask when they are going out. Nobody predicted that there will not be a transport system. Nobody has predicted that there will be a huge lockdown of this whole world. But today it has become reality, and we are all learning from virtual learning, and every student is learning from the LKG to higher education. Everyone is learning by way of virtual learning. The online classes are orders of the day. We never know when they are going to open the schools and colleges. Nobody knows how these future examinations are going to be conducted. But in spite of that, the faculties, teachers are sitting before the computers, sitting before the various methodologies, technology. They are providing education to the every student of this country. That means their role and responsibility is greater. Today, the change in education, the change in mind of the general people, youngsters, the learning capacity of the youngsters completely changed the scenario in this country, in this world, I can tell. Nobody expected that individually you will go and teach in the colleges or schools, but today you are sitting in your house or a place where you can have a designated place you can address to the students. So you need to have a more and more support what is happening in this world. Very rightly, as Mr. Dharmaraj has pointed out, that Google is our God. I can tell you some few points which I have gathered very recently. The Google CEO, as Sundar Pichai has said, in India, at the end of 2020, 650 million are going to learn technology. There will be about 450 million smartphones will be available in India. So there will be about large number of students are going to study by way of technology only. 22,000 schools are going to be trained by the Google. So there will be a leverage of technology platform for an education. So naturally, the faculties are to be trained towards the latest development, and there should be a complete opportunity should be given to them to learn what is happening in this world. Number one, the topics which they have chosen is very interesting topics, like emerging trend in financial reporting. What is an emerging trend in the financial reporting? Just 1 minute, I'll just change my lighting. The emerging trend in the financial reporting. Today, the chartered accountants are bringing out the financial statement and their reporting. The responsibility is preparation of the accounts, preparation of the financial statement is with the management. The chartered accountants have to audit and report on the financial statement. The reporting system completely changed with reference to the different companies, different entities, for a proprietor, for a partnership, for a limited company listed with Indian stock exchanges, limited companies listed with and global stock exchanges like New York, London, Luxembourg, and all these things. Today, the globalization has changed the scenario in this country. The Indian companies are registered with the international stock exchanges. So world over, the investors coming, they are investing their money in India. So naturally, they need to know what is the global accounting standard these companies are following. Started with IFRS, International Financial Reporting Standard. Then it was really converted into Indian Accounting Standard, IND AS, which is on par with the international accounting standards. So that an Indian company, if they want to raise the funds internationally, globally, if they invite the investors want to know what is the standard you are following for preparation of the financial statement. So there will be a uniformity internationally. An investor in England, an investor in USA, an investor in Germany must have the same information in their hand so that it will be easy for them to invest in India. So that is why the global trend of international financial reporting standard is coming to India in the form of IND AS. Mr. Sinnachami Ganesan is going to address about all this implication on this IND AS and the new trends in the financial reporting. Apart from this, the financial reporting and non-financial reporting also is a trend. For example, a company which has to spend on corporate social responsibility amount, there will be a reporting system on that. The sustainability reporting system on the other than financial reporting. Eco-friendly environmental reporting system to be followed by the many companies. So that today, the companies which are all in Indian companies, if they want to raise their funds internationally, they have to follow the international financial reporting standards. To that extent, the emerging financial reporting system has come that proved that there is a need for a changing methodology of reporting the financial statements. You may read a balance sheet. You must have given to your students to read the balance sheets of the companies in India. It may be a private limited company, it may be a public limited company, it may be a listed company. So all these things are how the reporting system is totally changed. The auditors are supposed to give many issues arising out of the transactions in the company. They have to report into that. We have very recently the International Code of Ethics, whereas one very important clause has been introduced for the auditors. That's called no-CLAR. No-CLAR means non-compliance of laws and regulations. If the company is not complying with the laws and regulations, then auditor has to report in their auditor report. It should be disclosed in the financial statement. A company is doing money laundering. Company is violating the PF Act. The company is violating the ESI Act. All these things companies are requested to report in their audit report. So that means any violation by the companies, any law, any act, if it is an impact on the financial statement, we have to report on that. So naturally, the emerging trend arising out of the finance report is very important for the faculties to understand how this finance statement has been completely changed. We all know that the present system of business modules, instead of opening of a mall, instead of going to the mall, instead of going to the shoppings, you can do online shopping. The e-commerce is taking care of the entire business world. And online, you can buy anything today. You need not go to a shop. Online, you can buy all your food products. All your restaurants are ready to supply to you online by using the other facilities. So online order, online business is the buzzword today. Naturally, the comprehensive system of reporting is also to be changed. So the system audit is an important, based on that we have to give a financial reporting. So it's an emerging area. It's a very interesting area. You all aware of that. Blockchain technology, that's a topic. Blockchain technology is prevailing last 40 years. Even it started just before the internet, just before all this, the technology implementations. And the Bitcoin concept has come to the cryptocurrency, which we have seen in the English movies earlier, how this cryptocurrency has been used by the criminals for using their drug money, like that. So the blockchain technology has been used by them. Now that platform has been converted into utilized for the purpose of business entities in a right perspective way. So blockchain technology and it's an impact in the business. Today, we are providing a separate books through our books of accounts maintained through our accounting system, filing with income tax department, filing with GST, filing with various authorities. If the full-fledged blockchain technology is implemented, your invoices will be generated by the blockchain technology method, like e-invoice under GST, which is going to come, but you have to generate by way of the e-invoices to be generated through GST portal. Like that, these are the things which are going to come. Once you end a transaction, GST authorities will write to verify everything. Income tax authorities verify that. Corporate law administrators will verify that. At the end, they will know what is the real transaction you have taken place in your business activities. So it will reduce the tax evasion. It will reduce the corporate frauds. Today, the corporate frauds is the very alarming frauds happening, like ILFS, where the auditors have been punished. The Satyam fraud has happened, that auditors have been punished. So like that, many cases are coming out with Geetanjali Jewellers. You can see that Kingfisher case, the NPA issues, which they are all not able to complete it. So many things are happening in the banking sector, insurance sector, all these things. So this blockchain technology is an important tool in future for the business. So naturally, the students on the commerce must understand that. Artificial technology, artificial intelligence is a very important tool in the business environment and improving the technology and compliances. Today, you can go to your room, you can sit in your room, you can call Alexa, I want a Carnatic music. Immediately it will play. I want to know where is the route for my Karpagam University from Ukadam. It will give you all these things. So many artificial intelligence today, you can see that they're all working. Yeah, cars are playing without drivers. The flights are moving without the pilots. The artificial intelligence is playing a vital role in this world, bringing many things in the surface. Artificial intelligence is very important for robotic surgery by the surgeon. Instead of doing the open heart surgery, they can do the keyhole surgery. So in every field, artificial intelligence is playing a key role. You are going to understand what is an artificial intelligence, how you can implement it. Similarly, the GST, it's a unified tax, the one tax, one nation. It's a unique way it's been implemented in India from 1st July 2017. We have seen that the implementation process has been completely open, transparent way. We will able to understand who is paying GST, who is not paying the GST. So all these things are all very important. You have to learn the new things out of that. So this the requirement of a commerce student, requirement of understanding about the e-commerce, requirement of understanding about technology, how best, that is all very important for the growth of the nation as well as the business activities, economic activities of the country. Naturally, the faculties today must understand what is happening outside their college, what is happening out there. They have learned so far, what they have to relearn, unlearn, and they have to learn new way. So all these things are very important, very nicely structured program. The role and responsibilities of chartered accountants also have been going to be explained to all of you. Since the entire business activity is going to be rooted through the activities of the chartered accountants, they are going to support the business, support the industry, support the government for smooth implementation of various provisions like GST. The Companies Act 2013, a new law, it is already implemented, And the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code 2016 is a very important piece of legislation useful for the bankers to understand how to recover their money which they have advanced to the various borrowers, and the steps taken by the government for a digital economy. Today is the biggest digital economy in the world is Indian economy. India is moving towards only about digital economy. 60,000 crore this time, the budget they have invested, they have allotted for the digital economy, and everywhere they are approving, supporting digital economy. Because of this digital economy, we can see the Make in India, Stand Up India, Startups India is working very well. So the artificial intelligence, blockchain technology, the role and responsibility of the chartered accountants, new financial reporting, emerging trend for the financial reporting so that they can invite more investors, protecting the economy. So we all come together to understand the new generation must move towards a new law, new technology, and drive the economy of this country. With this, I once again thank the organizers, and I wish the entire program should be a great success. And you must learn, unlearn, and relearn many things. And through you, the younger generations are going to learn many things. And I wish once again all of you a great success. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you very much, sir. Such a nice motivation to us. You people are always encouraging we young faculty members and young auditors, chartered accountants in this our accounting for the development of accounting and profession. And like to invite CA Chinnasamy Ganesan sir, and he is a practicing chartered accountant for more than 3 decades. He was the lead partner for many Indian and multinational companies, carried out audits, advisory on financial reporting, taxation, due diligence, and other assurance services. At present, he is the senior partner and head of audit and assurance, Mrs. CNGSN and
Yes.
Associates LLB. A chartered accountant, Chennai. A firm with 10 partners and around 120 team members. CA Ganesan specializes in financial reporting, including international standards, and he has presented numerous papers at various programs across the globe and authored 4 books on IFRS and Companies Act. He is an independent director in board of directors of Railtel Corporation of India Limited, a mini Ratna public sector undertaking under the Ministry of Railways. He is associated with many professional bodies and universities like ICAI, ICCIC, CII, FICI, ASSOCHAM, Institute of Directors, University of Madras, Annamalai University, Madurai Kamarajar University, Tyagarajas College, Madurai, and he's contributing rich knowledge and vast experience and wisdom. I would like to welcome him, and we have interestingly waiting to learn from you, sir. Thank you very much.
Uh, Thank you, Dr.
Welcome,
Dharmaraj, for this session. And I must mention that my friend, Mr. Jalapati, and my colleague is actually making the things happening for the benefit of not only students, but also for the benefit of the chartered accountants, other professionals, as well as for the benefit of the faculty members. So when there is a plan for development of faculties, and that faculty development is going to be for ensuring that the future generation is actually taken care by means of what is happening, especially when we are talking about an emerging trend in financial reporting. One of the topic very dear to me, and in the presence of the past president of the institute and one of my mentor in the entire professional activities, Mr. J. Ramasamy sir. It is very happy privilege to address each one of you on behalf of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India as well as the the Karpagam Institute for Higher Education. Jalabhi sir, whether the PPT is visible to you? Hello?
Proceed, sir.
Yeah.
Sir,
So,
okay.
okay. Friends, what I thought is that I will put down what is happening in the current financial reporting standards as well as the economy in which we are actually reporting. I thought that I will put up this as part of a small presentation, and the tone has been already set by your dean, my friend Jalapati, and CAG Ramasamy sir. And accordingly, what I will do is to avoid the repetition of certain items which has been already discussed. With the available time, we will look into the specific changes which is actually happening. One of the important change which is happening in the world is that the perspective of the regulators are completely changing. Ramsam sir were mentioning about ILFS fraud, where the auditors have been punished. And auditors have gone for an appeal. That appeal got rejected. And they have been asked, saying that you have been professionally negligent. So, the way in which profession is being looked into, and the way in which the people who are working in the finance team is being looked into, is to ensure that the interest of all the stakeholders, whether it is regulator, it's a lenders, banks, financial institutions, or when we are talking about even the ordinary shareholders, whether we have carried out or whether we have displayed our professional skills in ensuring that what is presented in the financial statements have been properly taken care and there is no fraudulent financial reporting. So that when we are seeing certain numbers, what happens is all of a sudden the entire wealth of these common stakeholders have been vanished just because one particular individual or one particular person who has a pressure to perform has made some adjustment which could not be rectified or could not be detected in any audit tool. For example, let us start with the question of Satyam case. Sir has made a passing comment. I will just give you a brief about how it has happened. The company's shareholder or the promoter is having a very thin shareholding and he has to continue to be the chairman and managing director and all his nominees should be director in the company. So there is always a pressure that the company should perform better and best and maybe whatnot. Every year on year, there is an expectation that it should perform better than the previous year. And is it practically possible? You all commerce faculties know pretty well. In every economy, if there is an upside trend is happening, there will be a correction which will be happening. Again, it will move up. Again, there is a fall. This is the normal trend in a business scenario. Whereas, when we are looking into a case where a company is always showing an upward trend, it beats its budgets, it beats its profit estimates, it is always ahead of whatever it's already informed to the shareholders. There should be certain little bit of concern which should have come in. But what has happened is that to achieve this year on year growth, one thing they have accounted for sales. on a non-existing customer. When the sales has been accounted for, what will be the entry which we will pass? Credit sales, debit trade receivable. So don't think that I'm taking you back to the basics of journal entry. The way in which we normally look into everything is through the journal entries. Even life is a journal entry. We are looking for what comes in. As even Kavinger Kannadasan has said, Vandadai varavil irpom, sendradai selavil vaipom. Indrubol, Yendrume, Nalamai Valvom. So, Yellarum Kondodu. When we are talking about what is coming in, what is going out, that's the way in which we look even in life. And that is exactly is what is being presented in the financial statement as well. When we are talking about the financial statement, where the sales has been accounted and trade receivable comes in, the auditor will normally raise a question. Why your trade receivables is not realized in cash? Why? This is outstanding for more than a year, more than 6 months. Your normal credit period which you have given is hardly 60 days or 180 days or maybe 90 days. Why it is not collected within the normal credit period where other receivables are being collected? Why this is accumulating? They will ask a natural question. So what they have done, they have shown that this money has been collected. When we are asking for a collection report, we will not say that it's a cash collection. It's normally a bank collection. But this actual amount has not been collected, and to that extent, there is no entry in the bank statement. The auditor will be looking into the bank statement to check whether these transactions are not there. A simple way is to print a bank statement within the company, including this transaction, and the actual bank statement which is coming from the bank is never shown to the auditor. So auditor has checked, yes, the payment has been came in. When the payment came in, it should actually reflect in the current account. And when you are keeping it in the current account, the next question which we will ask is, why you are keeping so much of money in the current account? So for avoiding that question, the entire money in the current account has been shown as invested in fixed deposits. So fixed deposit, auditor will ask for the actual copy of the fixed deposit for verification. Simple way, I have a printing machine, print the fixed deposit, show the printed fixed deposit for the auditors. Auditors have verified the original fixed deposit, and on that basis, they believe that the balance is actually existing. But the auditor will not stop at that question. When you have invested, say, for example, 1,540 crore in fixed deposit, what is the interest arising out of that? So interest should be accounted for. What is the entry we will do? Interest income will be credited and interest receivable will be accounted for. That interest receivable is added to the bank deposit. But auditor will not stop at that level. They will also ask the next question. If there is an interest income which is coming in, what happens to the tax deducted at source on the interest? Why there is no tax deduction? Because even if a salaried employee is earning just 5,000 rupees, there is a tax deduction comes in. For 1,500 crore, even if I assume 10% on interest, 154 crore of interest income you have credited, and the normal rate of TDS is say 10%, 15.4 crore should be the TDS which should have been deducted by the bank, where that TDS is coming in. So to avoid that question, they themselves has deposited the TDS on behalf of the bank. The TDS is reflected in the government portal as an available credit. What else an auditor will be able to check? He has actually gone to right from the receivable to the period of this. And this fixed deposit, when it is maturing, shown as a collection, and new fixed deposit replaces. What we have seen in our auditing paper when we are doing our BCom, teaming and learning is a simple way of pushing the second collection into the first collection and the third collection to the second collection, fourth collection to the third collection. So this is a very, very orchestrated fraud which has happened. How an auditor with having done so much of activity could be done. Having said that, whether the regulators are having that feeling, No, regulators are expecting that the auditor should always check and ensure that there is no error. There is no error may be coming because of a mistake, or error may be coming because of an intentional fraud. Auditor should plan his audit procedure. That's the way in which it has to happen. That when I am talking about an auditor's scenario, why I am talking about auditor's perspective? Because the financial statement, if you understand, and the financial reporting, if you understand, it is actually prepared by the management. Who is preparing? The finance professionals who have been learning the commerce stream, or who are completed their chartered accountancy or company secretaryship or cost accountancy, are engaged as the professionals in the finance team. Those people are preparing and presenting the financial statement, which is actually coming for audit by the auditors. So auditors role actually coming a little later, where the accounting ends, audit starts. That's what we have learned in our auditing paper. Now the expectation is, when the account starts, is there a possibility of the financial reporting being done in a different manner? Is what is the biggest question which we are having. And the related question is, this type of complexity when it is coming in, are we develop our students for the emerging trends in the financial reporting? Very nice point has been made by your dean, Dr. N.V. Balaji, where he said, are we preparing our students for meeting the challenges of the employers of the present day? That is exactly what we are looking for. Any educational institution is looking for creating people to meet the changes, meet the challenges of the market and be employable at all times. Are we doing it? That's what we are going to do. To make this thing little lively, or maybe making it simple, how the regulators are looking at the finance professional, whether it is the people who have gone from the commerce team and sitting and preparing the financial statement, or the cost accountant, or the company secretaries, or the chartered accountants, what regulators are looking for. I'm sharing a small video. So what happens when she wanted a help with the stirrer? The way in which the other person has understood is, you need only to have a simple change. That's the way in which regulators are also looking for. They believe that if it is audited, or if it is prepared by a finance professional, it is blessed with no errors and no fraud. When that type of expectation is set in, what we are having is that, what is the change which is happening in the professional environment, especially with respect to finance professional in financial reporting? What is the change which is happening in the financial reporting? uh, I was supposed to talk about what is the change which is happening on the financial reporting, especially on the IFRS related Indian accounting standard. So let me take an example. A company, which is a listed company, very big listed company. When I'm opening the numbers, you will see what is the thing. On 31st of March of the previous year, they have followed a set of accounting standard which has been notified by the Companies Act. And being a listed company, they are supposed to change from the existing accounting standard to what we call as an IFRS converged Indian accounting standard. Every time when I'm saying IFRS converged Indian accounting standard, I have to take a big breath. And if I'm actually feeling that breathlessness, somebody will say that maybe he is having a asymptomatic for corona. Okay. So to avoid that type of scenario, there is an abbreviation which has been given. It says IND-AS, Indian Accounting Standard, short form, it is given as an IND-AS. So every listed company, every big company is supposed to follow this Indian accounting standards. And this company previously followed the accounting standards, which was a normal set of accounting standard, which we are teaching to the students on a regular basis. And from a particular date, they have to move to the set of IFRS converged Indian accounting standards or INDAS. When they have done, the accounting principles as per the existing accounting standard and what is given as per the Indian accounting standards are different. When the accounting policies are different, it says you adjust the difference in the opening retained earnings. That is, we have a balance in profit and loss account under reserves and surplus. You adjust against that particular number is what this particular transition provisions of IFRS converged Indian accounting standard is saying. So this company has followed the transition, and on the first day, that is between 31st March on 1st April, when they have switched over the new set of accounting principle, what has happened was because of a change in accounting policy they have followed, there is a reduction in the reserves to the extent of 39,570 crore. Friends, please see the number again. It is not thousands, it is not full rupees, it is not lakhs, it is 39,570 crore. One single accounting policy change has reduced the reserves by 39,570 crore. And related to that, there is an accounting principle called deferred tax accounting in one of the India standard that has created another reduction in the reserves by another 13,665 crore. In simple terms, what was my reserves in the previous day, 31st March, has vanished by 53,235 crore. In fact, when I'm doing this particular slide, even in my practice, have I seen a balance sheet which has a total of 53,235 crore? Is a big question mark. Maybe one or two PSUs I might have audited, but not the entire thing. Just see, when 53,235 crore of reduction in the reserve happens, whatever is the key performance indicator, which is connected with the net worth. For example, the borrowing powers of the directors, you know pretty well under the Companies Act, is dependent on what is the share capital plus free reserves. So assuming that in the previous year they were having 2 lakh crores, based on which they can go up to 2 lakh crores for taking a loan without even the approval of the shareholders. Assuming that they have taken the 2 lakh crores of loan from the bank, now 53,000 crore has gone. So the borrowing powers which has been exercised itself is now questionable. How we are going to ensure that the borrowing powers which is now fallen down, but I have borrowed much more, how it will be reconciled? How I have to go to the shareholders? Whether any other approval is required? Whether my bankers will understand what has happened to my 53,235 crore? Big question mark. Another interesting factor which we can share is that when I'm saying the payment to the managerial personnel, key management personnel, which we are saying that for the directors or chairmen or the other whole-time directors, managing directors, when the remuneration is being paid, it is based on the effective capital of the company. The effective capital includes the reserves and surplus as well. So if I have already fixed a limit or fixed a remuneration and paid the remuneration, and you have a reduction of the reserves by 53,000 crore, how you are able to manage this? Whatever you have paid to the managing director will be considered as an excessive payment under the Companies Act. You have to reverse that entry, or you have to get the refund from that entry. Whether the director will be having that money with him, whether he has to work for another generation to repay that refund, it's a big question mark, right? So the key performance indicators which we are talking about comes to a challenge. When this type of challenge comes in, how the companies will balance two problems will come. One, the trust of the stakeholders will get into a challenge because the stakeholders will believe that you have reduced 53,235 crores because of the change in accounting policy. That means so far you are showing a balance sheet which was actually not having a profit, but you have shown this 53,000 crore in your balance sheet and made us to believe that your performance is very great, right? That is the trust which will be get challenged by the stakeholders. That could be one problem. Another problem is regulatory issues which we have seen could be the next issue. Now, let us keep that how the company could manage it. The company actually managed it and it has reduced the gap to just 3,000 crore, balance 50,000 crores. It has found out when we say no, when we shut one door, you can open one window is closed, another door will be open. Similarly, when there is a debit comes in the retained earnings, is there a credit is applicable? So the company has actually used certain principles which has been allowed within the law, based on which they have revalued their entire land, which was at a throwaway price, being in the company for more than 50 years. Maybe it has been purchased for, say, for some few thousands. Now it is several lakhs of crores. They have revalued that and took around 49,000 crores of increase in value of the land and made that as a credit to the reserves and surplus. And they also held a lot of investments in various companies, which is stated at cost. They have gone for what we call as a fair value. That is, what is a market value? They recognize that, and they have brought it to another 2,000 crore, and finally ended up with having only around 3,000 crore of shortage, which any investor can be able to digest, because the size of the company's reduction itself is 53,000 crore, means the size of the balance sheet will be much more, right? So what is coming as a challenge for all of us as a faculties here is that, have we made our students to understand what is reflected in the new trend and what is the impact which is coming in, the magnitude of impact? I'm actually taking this to show you that this is a live case. Whenever I take an example, I normally go with the theory of Don Brown, where he has written the story of Da Vinci Code. All the authors used to say, all the contents of this book is a fiction. Any resemblance to actual characters or names and circumstances are considered is mere coincidence. That's what normally people will write as a disclaimer in the book. But in Da Vinci Code, he has written that all the matters which has been given in the book are real facts. Nothing is fictional, right? When I do an example, I normally take from published accounts, live cases. Nothing is imaginary, nothing is hypothetical situation. This is a specific case. If anybody wanted to check, is a company has done like this, please go and search the company's financial statement. I can name the company for the benefit of you. It is Reliance Industries Limited, which was done in 2015 March. Go and search their website. They will explain beautifully what is the impact, how they have managed it, and what are all the debits and what are all the credits. Please see that whether that type of intelligence, whether that type of professional knowledge we are imparting to the students, so that they will be able to meet the challenge of an employer. For example, if the employer comes and say, today there is a change in the financial reporting. Because of that, my balance sheet will be distorted than what I have given last year. So what they should be able to know, what is that change and what is the impact arising out of the change. And for that impact, what is the thing which I can actually help with the management within the four walls of law. I'm not saying any fraudulent activity. I'm not saying anything which is outside the purview of the law. Within the law, what type of things which can be done is what is the development which we have to create in the students. When we are talking about the students, it is actually our responsibility as the faculty members. If we are saying that our faculty should know that, there should be a faculty development program. That is the reason why I always appreciate my friend Jalapati. He is always pioneer in taking certain ideas and discussing with the right people who has the real uh, mindset to adapt to the given challenge and having the same kind of consensus in mind to ensure that the knowledge should be imparted to everyone affected. So Karpagam Institute or Academy of Higher Education and my friend Jalapati through ICAI-Coimbatore, it's a very laudable work which they have actually performed. And let me take you through the other issues which we are talking about in financial reporting. Nowadays, people are saying, and this is again, it's not fictional, it's a factual. If there is an amendment comes in any act on 31st March, the date on which you have to apply is on 1st of April. So if you have slept for one day, 1st of April, you have not even woke up. And you will see that what you have applied on 31st March is not applicable on 1st. On 2nd, you are redundant because so many laws and regulations are there and there are frequent changes in the laws and regulations. Whether when I say, how can I ensure compliance with rapidly changing laws and regulations? That is exactly what Dean has mentioned. Are we changing our curriculum to ensure that the students understand what is the change which is happening in the present world? And because of a non-compliance, how a company's reputation will be totally spoiled, how the future of the person who is working in the company will get also impacted. So the first question comes in, how we will be coping up with the rapidly changing laws and regulations. You will be seeing that so many laws are getting changed. So many financial reporting requirements are getting changed. How we will be equipping our students is an important question which we are supposed to answer. Another interesting question is that I have whether I am responsible for ethical and transparenting financial reporting. You remember that Ramsamy sir was making a passing comment. Your reporting is going to assess what is the market value of the company. And if the financial reporting, when a layman reads, should be able to understand, have you done a transparent financial reporting? Or you are trying to cover up something under the carpet? So in Tirkural, there is one statement says that even a lie is considered as a truth. பொய்மையும் வாய்மை இடத்த புரைதீர்த்த நன்மை பயக்குமெனின். That's what we used to say, right? So even a lie will be considered as a truth, provided it is not affecting anybody. It gives some benefit. Then we can even say this. Whether that type of change, when I'm not talking about the truth, keeping quiet, I normally consider that even if you are not talking about the truth, that is considered as a lie. That is what I believe. The ethical requirements is actually believes that if you are keeping quiet, when you are supposed to open up your mouth and say this is what is happening, then you have actually guided them in a different direction. So am I responsible for the ethical and transparent financial reporting is the next important question which comes to our mind. And whether we are developing our students to have that ethical values and transparent financial reporting, so that when they are going and occupying a premier position in various MNCs or maybe in Indian companies, or they have the mindset of ethical values in life as well as in financial reporting, whether we are training them to that level is another important factor when we are talking about emerging trend, because ethical and transparent financial reporting is expected from every finance professional. When we develop our students as a financial professional, are they ready to take that particular challenge? That is the next important question. And third is an interesting question. I relate this to a simple case. One of the company's chief financial officer, having a very good status in the public, in the society, and one fine morning, there is a whistleblower. That whistleblower has said that the way in which the company's financial statement has been prepared and presented to the bankers and financial institution is manipulated number. The manipulated number runs into crores of rupees. In that example, what I am talking about is again live case I am talking about. It was somewhere around 780 crore. If I remember exactly that number, it is 783 crore. 783 crore was the amount which is vanishing, or which has been shown as the asset, which is actually non-existing. So what has happened was, the banks have filed a case against that promoter. Along with the promoter, they have tagged in the chartered accountant, the cost accountant, the finance manager. They have also bring in the CFO into the FIR. So far, I was having a very big status in the society. Next day morning, when the news item comes in, nowadays news item is very simple. No, even before you see the newspaper, there will be breaking news. If you have not seen the breaking news, there will be breaking news, and they will also say that it's an important breaking news, and sometimes they will only talk about breaking the news, right? So in all these scenarios, the media has started scrolling so much of crores of fraud which has happened, and these are all the people who have been booked into. That contains the name of the chief financial officer. He is sitting and watching along with his family members. His daughter, who is studying in school, not even gone to the college, she is studying in a school. And his wife is a teacher, teaching in a college. So they were watching. Just imagine what would be the situation when they are opening their door and stepping outside the door. The entire credit, reputation which you have kept is completely lost. You will not be able to face the entire society, and you are not going to face the society, but you have made your entire family also fail the same pinch, right? So, is it comfortable if I am taking an action and the results are made public? That is the big question which we are having as part of the emerging financial reporting. Because the financial reporting says, have you considered what is the areas where there could be an error by means of mistake or intentional error? Have you considered all these items? Whether the revenue which you have recognized is in accordance with the financial reporting requirement, whether the expenditure which you are supposed to book, have you booked it or you capitalize that expenditure? Because if I'm charging to P&L, my profit will come down. If I'm capitalizing as part of my fixed asset, then it will be depreciated over 15 years. So I defer the expenditure over 15 years, whereas showing the income immediately. The financial reporting framework says the way in which you have to recognize even your revenue, it says you have to do based on what is the contract with your customers. What is the performance obligation you agreed with the customer? If the performance obligation has been completed, then only you have to recognize revenue. If the performance obligation is not yet completed, defer the revenue and account it in the year in which you are actually performing. That's the way in which the financial reporting framework is changing. India's is changing. IFRS is changing. That is the important point why we should be very, very choosy in ensuring that the faculties are getting the right kind of direction, and because of that they will be able to give the right guidance to the students who are all the future leaders and future finance professionals. The next important point, of course, it has been already discussed on a passing comment again by Ramasamy sir. Previously, we were only talking about financial reporting. Now, the corporate reporting goes beyond the financial reporting. Not only numbers, it talks about a lot of changes. And interestingly, what has happened was how the companies are complying with the regulations. A committee has been set up called Kotak Committee. And the Kotak Committee has come out with 81 recommendations that a listed company should follow. 81 recommendations, because they felt that the corporate governance framework presently available requires an improvement, a change. And because of that, the interest of the stakeholder should be protected. There is no vanishing of the wealth of the common shareholder. So the Kotak Committee has come out with 81 recommendations. Out of that 81 recommendations, interestingly, what has happened was 40 recommendations have been immediately made mandatory for all the listed companies by Securities Exchange Bureau of Board of India, SEBI. SEBI has made 40 recommendations immediately applicable. So if you are not training our team members to understand what is a Kodak Committee report and what is the recommendation they have given, what is that 40 recommendation which has been made immediate application, how we will be able to train them properly is the biggest question which we are having. So that is the requirement of the new corporate reporting. And they have not said, talked only on the recommendation which has been implemented. They said that the board should perform as a board, because board is the set of people who are ensuring the governance of the entire company, the way in which policy decisions are taken, the way in which financial decisions are taken, the way in which company performs its social responsibility, like a corporate social responsibility, the way in which the tone at the top has been reflected, all comes from the board. When we are saying tone at the top, what we are saying is, in a proverb, we say, Arasan evali kudimakkal avali. How the king, the citizens will also follow the king. If the tone at the top, that means what the king is having the ethical value, what is his transparent financial reporting. For example, when I am saying king, you have to consider that as a board. And the top management, if they are having the perfect tone at the top, and that will percolate to everyone down the line, and we will be able to ensure that the financial reporting. And this says the board should be having an enhanced role. So, for example, I'm an independent director. That's what it has been introduced. In the board meeting, what is the agenda point which is coming in? Whether that agenda point I have considered how it is going to impact the way in which company performs, how it will have an impact on the company stakeholders. It is expected that I analyze and give my comment, my inputs, so that a corrective action, if it is required, or remedial action, which if it is required, has been taken care. So the responsibility of the committees of the board, audit committee or the remuneration committee, even the remuneration committee is, the audit committee has been vested with the power to say what is the amount of fees you are paying to the auditors. One of the questions which has been raised in a case where there is a fraudulent financial reporting, which has been unearthed at a later point of time, the new regulator has actually said that the fee which the firm, audit firm, has collected for providing consultancy jobs are much higher than the audit fees. Because the consultancy fee is very high, the auditors are forced to adjust with certain decisions taken by the management. They have not come out with actual facts which they have observed. That is the allegation which has been made by the auditor. And in some cases where they have gone for an appeal, that appeal has been rejected and they have been penalized with penalty. And in fact, in the case of that particular issue which I am saying, 3 partners have been penalized with penalty, and they have also been said that you cannot practice as a chartered accountant. So that type of evaluation is what the board is supposed to do for the governance activity. Are we preparing our members or our students for understanding what is the change which is happening on a day-to-day basis? This is hardly some 6 months back. Yesterday, there is one more change which we were talking about. What is the reporting when income of a company is being filed. We call it as a tax audit. In tax audit, what are all the changes? And what is the quality of the tax audit which you are doing? That is also coming in. So everywhere the expectation grows and is growing further and further and further. And accordingly, every challenge, every change, every new trend should be looked into. And who will be appointed as an independent director? I have a typical case where I was the auditor and I am supposed to make a presentation to the audit committee. And in that, there were 4 independent directors. I was waiting for my turn to make my presentation, which is a requirement as per law. And the board meeting, the independent audit committee meeting is going on. For 45 minutes, you will not believe when I'm saying this, the 45 minutes, the discussion was only on one point, that the audit committee chairman, very veteran industrialist, I should say industrialist, he was having a Rolls Royce car, vintage car. One of the tire for the vintage car has actually gone. It's burst. It is not usable. So there should be a replacement. Without that, the vehicle will not move. So he is trying to find out what is the replacement. And this discussion is going on with him, with another independent director who is representing, he is a managing, that independent director is a managing director of a tire manufacturing company. For nearly 45 minutes, the discussion was what would be the suitable tire. And we professionals are just keeping quiet. That type of independent directors, no more is possible, because independent directors are elected by an independent directors data bank maintained by Ministry of Corporate Affairs, and independent directors has to undergo an assessment test to qualify being appointed as the independent director. For example, I have passed my CA in 1987, but I have returned this examination, and the first worry which you are having when you are writing an examination is that you have 25 people studying CA with you, and if you fail, these people will be watching, right? So I have almost prepared like for my final examination in 1987 and attended that particular session. I passed, fortunately, without any problem. And of course, mere pass, they will say a border pass. That's the way in which the students will say now. A teacher himself has got only border marks. Why should he insist us that we should be excelling? That should not come into their mind. So I was doing so much of effort, and finally I got 96 marks out of 100 marks. Then people has not raised any question. In fact, the level of respect has gone little bit. What I am saying that the worry which we are having, the independent directors should be capable of managing the entire thing and understanding this is an important point. Every day I have an ethical dilemma. Every CFO will have an ethical dilemma. Every finance professional will have an ethical dilemma on a daily basis. I give one example. This is again a live case where my colleague who has been qualified from one of the premier commerce institution has also become a chartered accountant and was doing a very good practice. He was actually doing the audit of a listed company. And the CFO, he is also a commerce graduate and a chartered accountant, cost accountant, company secretary, triplet. He came out with saying that, sir, I wanted to use a certain accounting policy in respect of certain transaction. The only problem is this is exactly is not in accordance with the accounting standard. That's a financial reporting system. So it is not in accordance with the accounting standard. Slight difference. Because of the slight difference, what will happen is the impact on the P&L is immaterial. It is not very big number. So you allow me to use this accounting policy. What you will do? You have an ethical dilemma. Can I accept this because it is not a material number? It is not going to impact the financials in a bigger way. Or why, if it is not material, he is trying to change the accounting policies. What would be the impact on a go forward basis? In fact, I used to tell my article students who are coming and doing CA with me, I used to tell them a good auditor is a person who asks 10 relevant questions with respect to anything. Even if I'm showing you this before you, starting with what is this, you should be able to ask 10 relevant questions. With that 10 relevant question, you will be able to unearth the truth. Exactly the same way have we trained our team members, our students, to ensure that this is happening in their life also when they are going and meeting the challenge of the profession. Another interesting factor which is coming in as the emerging trend in financial reporting is people used to say, we are in VUCA world. What is VUCA world? There is a volatility in my reporting. I have reported a profit. For example, we have closed one of the company's quarterly results. That company's financial statement last quarter, in March quarter, whatever is the turnover, not even 50% of the turnover is in the first quarter because of Corona. It's a completely volatile and completely uncertain, and it creates a lot of complexity when the business transaction was very simple before. Debit what comes in, credit what goes out, debit the receiver, credit the giver, debit uh, the expenses and losses, credit your income and gains. Simple golden theory. If you are having only that golden theory today, whether the gold really has a value today or it has now become a tin, I have the big question, because transactions, business transactions are becoming so complex. In fact, one of the study says that some of the areas they have no clarity. There is an ambiguity, volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous transactions are happening in the world, especially in financial reporting. I will tell you an example. One of the studies says that I'm a CEO, I'm coming to the office, and I have a to-do list today. These are all the things I wanted to do today. I wanted to complete. 78% of its to-do list is not getting completed on the day because of this is a VUCA world. There is a uncertainty which comes in, or there is a complexity which happens. He has to address that as a priority basis. 78% of the CEO are saying that they could not complete their to-do list. Okay, CEO is another professional. We are the finance professional. What is our situation? 83% of the CFOs, finance professionals, are more concerned about not financial accounting. They are more concerned about the operations of the company. We have introduced for the position of a CFO around 85 people. It's a marathon work which we have done, starting at 9 o'clock and ended with 9 o'clock. Of course, we have given a proper schedule for each of the people, and we were sitting for 12 hours to do the interview on behalf of one of the client who asked that I should also be present. When we are seeing the profile of the CFO and their expectation of the salary is very high, but when we are asking a basic questions on financial reporting, they are saying, sir, I normally look for funding. So that means they are worried more on the operational side, not on the financial numbers, because the expectation is also like that. Volatility of the bottom lines, it goes up and down. Profit is there in one quarter, profit is not there in another quarter. Next quarter, it was a deep, very big loss. And whether I will be able to survive is a question. Because of that, what is the top line turnover which I will have is also the biggest question. And the business transactions are becoming complex. We are talking about derivative accounting. We are talking about, previously we used to say only the debit, the purchases, credit the payables. Now, when I purchase, I'm not going to pay the money. I'm saying I will issue shares in on behalf of my purchases. We are calling as a share-based payment transaction. And how to account for the share-based payment transaction? Because share value is not stagnant. It is dependent on the market value. If that is the case, how this transaction should be accounted for? Then there is a guidance which is required. Ind AS gives a guidance saying that Ind AS 102 on share-based payment transaction, even for a third party, not necessarily for the shareholders. So those items are becoming an issue, and future is completely ambiguous. Every financial reporting which you have seen during this particular quarter or the last year, they might have had one specific paragraph talking about uncertainty created by corona. Nobody might have thought about it. And whether the future will be able to revive, whether the company will be able to survive, is the biggest question which we are having. The VUCA world is what is another challenge in the emerging financial reporting situation. Fraud has been already discussed. What it says is that opportunity for committing a fraud and nobody will find it out is 69%. And pressure for performance, what has happened in Satyam case, incentive, where the managerial remuneration is based on the say profit of the company, or you have been allotted employee stock option plan. If the market value of the share goes up, you will get a biggest benefit. So there is an incentive for showing a different number. So lot of things are happening, and as I've said, media is sensational to say that even before the argument of the case has started, they will be passing the judgment. How our finance professionals has to be equipped to meet this type of challenges is what is we are looking for. I have given certain examples of what could be going wrong. I have said about promoter shareholding in Satyam case, it is less than 12%. And related party transaction between Satyam and Metas, there was a big transaction which was going on, which has an impact. And some of the transaction which they have done is not in the normal course of business. When 1,540 crore has been shown as a fixed deposit, for making the salary payment, they are taking short-term loans from the banks. If anybody has asked a simple question, if you are having fixed deposit of 1,540 crore, why you are going for a loan? Mature that or premature that particular deposit and pay. Why you are unnecessarily paying interest at 13%, 14%, where your rate of interest for fixed deposit is only 7% or 8%? Why you have to lose such a big money? These are outside the normal course of business, right? Management wanted to override certain principles will also be in the situation. These lines we normally miss it. In fact, I used to ask whether the numbers smell good. When we buy a new notebook in our childhood and in college days, we used to first smell that scent or the smell which is coming in, because we are actually feeling very, very blessed when we are seeing the new notebook, right? So if the numbers written in the notebook, which is becoming a financial statement, should also have the same good smell, if it is wrongly done, because of the financial reporting is having complexity and somebody is exploiting the complexity, are we putting somebody or equipping somebody to ensure that that complexity is being arrested and that possibility of exploiting the complexity has been controlled? Have we brought our people in accordance with that requirement? Oh, that is another case where companies are now worried whether they will be able to survive for the next 12 months. This is one case where company was having accumulated losses, debit balance in profit and loss account, net worth, when they have seen it is also negative net worth, current assets are lower than the current liabilities. It is like complete sickness in the company. Whether the company will be able to survive as a going concern, now the emphasis on going concern assumption becomes a very, very critical change in the financial reporting. Auditors are expected to review the going concern assumption used by the management, and if they are not convinced, in the audit report, they are supposed to talk about material uncertainty relating to going concern. That's the audit report is what I'm talking about, SA 700, SA 70A6, etc. And when there is a going concern, you should also see that whether the financial statement will be able to prepare under the going concern. These are all the things which we normally miss when we are communicating what is the emerging trend, what the regulators are expecting, what is the laws are emerging, what is the changes which is happening on the financial reporting standards. These are all the things which we have to take into consideration. I have another question. The curriculum at present, whatever I have asked is a question. Are we creating a specialized training on Ind AS and IFRS? This is one of the forum where you are starting the initiative. You are training the people on Ind AS and IFRS so that they are globally employable. In fact, yesterday we were having a webinar on which I was speaking to a group of chartered accountants in a small remote village in Andhra, remote city in Andhra. Hardly 50 chartered accountants has been there for the entire particular group of the cities, nearby cities, everything put together. And believe me or not, one of the communication which we were talking about is that with the new technology, now new normal is working from home is possible. If I could deliver a financial reporting preparation and the attest function sitting in my office here, whether I am doing it for my client in Chennai or whether I am doing it for a client in Coimbatore, whether I am doing it for a client in Delhi, whether I am doing the work for a client in US, whether I'm doing it for UK, for Australia or Singapore, there is absolutely no difference. Absolutely no difference. That means, are we developing that specialization is what is required. The financial reporting is actually moving towards global accounting language should be only one common accounting language throughout the globe. That is the way in which the reporting actually goes out. We should actually give an industry update and requirement, and according to the present education system has to be a little bit revisited, maybe starting with that. Another thing, based on whatever discussion we have seen, are we developing our student as a bookkeeper? They come for arts, BCom or MCom or whatever is a related post graduation or MPhil, whatever they are doing. Are we prepared a bookkeeper? Whether a bookkeeper is really required? No. Even if I train an 8th standard person to pass the entries in a tally software, this is what you have to put as a first entry, this is what you have to pay, you have to do as a second entry, and the total should match because that software itself will match. Software itself will post. Software itself will give you a trial balance. Software itself will give you a balance sheet. Software itself will give you the profit and loss account. Software itself will also give you a cash flow statement. Then where is the question of I have a bookkeeper? In fact, we were working out a small testing in our office. If I download the the bank statement of a client and the client gives in an Excel sheet, can I put the Excel sheet directly uploaded into the system? We are working on that. So that means what is required is somebody to have a knowledge of downloading this, convert that into Excel. That is also not required because in Excel, the moment you download even a PDF file, it can be converted into an Excel file. And the Excel has to be put in the particular place, click the button saying that this is the file which you wanted to upload. Automatically it goes and sits in the financial statement. Why should I have a bookkeeper? Why should I have an accountant who prepares this accounting? And what we are expecting is we are supposed to groom an analyst of the financial reporting. In fact, today, if I am talking about anybody who has to be a CFO, it is expected that they should be a business solution provider rather than mere accountant. Okay, that is exactly is what is expected. The changes which is happening, India is being discussed by Mr. Ramasamy sir. So I will just touch upon very minimal. That is what I have also been told by Jalandhar sir. If it is a non-corporate entity, for example, it's a proprietary firm or partnership firm, the accounting principles are given by means of accounting standard by the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. Suppose it is a company and it is not having a particular threshold limit. The Companies Act 2013, by means of Section 133, notified the accounting standard rules 2006, based on which the financial statement has to be prepared. When we are saying certain companies beyond a threshold limit, we will see the threshold limit beyond the threshold limit, which is those companies should prepare and present the financial statement in accordance with IFRS Converged Indian Accounting Standard. These type of companies are going to be the employers of your students. And accordingly, your students should know what is happening in the new rules of financial reporting. Ind AS is what it talks about, how it is different from IFRS. Can I do sitting here, working from home, and accounting principles as per Ind AS or IFRS, so that I will be employable not only in India, and even if I have been rooted, taken with the roots and placed tomorrow on Singapore, whether I will be able to survive. That is the level of expectation of the change, or the rules of the game is changing in the financial reporting. In fact, it says that in respect of Ind AS, it is based on whether net worth of the company is more than 250 crore, share capital plus reserves and surplus, whether it is more than 250 crore, whether the company is a listed company, whether the company is planning to list its shares, maybe shares or even debentures, they should follow Ind AS. Mandatory basis, they have to follow Ind AS. That means if our faculty members as well as the students are trained only on the existing accounting principles and not on what is changing in the as a new rule of the financial reporting, they become redundant, they are outdated, they are not relevant. So how we will make them to have a relevant in the market of employment is what we have to look into the new rules of financial reporting. In fact, even the format of the financial statement has been given by means of a schedule to the Companies Act. For example, the Companies Act Schedule 3 is saying what is the format of your balance sheet. Previously, we used to say, no, the format of the financial statement of a company, electricity company, banking company, insurance company. We used to ask our students to mug up that format, right? That format, which was driven by the Companies Act 1956, has gone, and the new format is coming in. For the banking company and the insurance company, there is no change has happened as of now. For all other companies, including a non-banking financial company, NBFC, the format has changed. That format is coming as part of Schedule 3 to the Companies Act 2013. And the first division of the schedule says it is for the companies which are normal companies, that is not following IFRS converged Indian accounting standard. Suppose if it is an IFRS converged Indian accounting standards are being followed, whether the company is an NBFC or not. If I'm saying it is not an NBFC, it's a general company, then another division says how you have to present your financial statement. And the third part, division 3, says it will be applicable to an NBFC. In an NBFC, the financial statements are given based on the order of liquidity. In a case of an NDS company, as per division 2 for general companies, it starts with uh, your non-current asset like property, plant and equipment. Assets is started first, but what we have learned so far is share capital comes first. Every format is changing. This is the new rule of financial reporting. This is called the requirement as per Ind AS. In fact, what I have said, beyond a threshold limit of net worth, the company should follow. That's what has happened for many of the companies. Now, for NBFCs also, this has been already explained. Some people may ask a question, what will happen in case if there is a non-compliance? These are all the people who have been considered as persons liable for preparation and presentation of financial statement and ensuring that they have looked into the financial reporting framework has been followed. A managing director, a whole-time director who is in charge of the finance, a chief financial officer. In case no person has been notified as such, all directors of the company. What is the penalty for non-compliance? It says 50,000 per officer, which may get extended to 5 lakhs. And bonus could be imprisonment of 1 year or both. That could be a possibility. So that the cost of compliance also is going, and the level of penalty which is applicable and the prosecution which is applicable is very, very strong if there is a non-compliance. So that means the changing trends in the financial reporting should be taken into consideration. In fact, I have planned that I will take you through the various areas where there could be an impact which will be coming in. I just put that in a single slide. So just look into that. I'm talking about revenue, which is the top line of your P&L account. Property, plant, and equipment, top item of your balance sheet. Investment, another item. Financial instrument, your receivables, your deposits, all are coming as financial instruments. You take something on a lease, that comes into that. You made an investment in a property, land and buildings for the purposes of capital appreciation or for rental income. And another area is you prepare a consolidated financial statement, not only standalone financial statement. You should also prepare a consolidated financial statement. We said the transactions are becoming complex, hedging, derivatives, the employee benefit, whatever you pay to the employee, even the employee stock option plan is a complex accounting treatment. Current tax, what is the income tax you have to pay on the profits, and what is deferred tax? Suppose if your book profit is 100 lakhs and your taxable profit is only 50 lakhs, why there is a difference of 50 lakhs? Whether that will be taxed on a later year, then you are postponing your tax liability. Recognize that deferred tax is also coming in. Related party transactions are looked with so much of lens. And finally, the format of the financial statement is one of the important area. If you see this, you might have seen that I have almost covered all the important components of the balance sheet as well as the profit and loss. That is the way in which the new financial reporting framework will have an impact. In fact, we used to say that if you are adopting Ind AS for the first time, where we are talking about first time adoption is what we have taken an example of 53,235 crores of reduction in the reserves by means of application of new set of accounting principles. It's not a simple accounting change. Entire business undergoes a change. I'm trying to find out what are all the other areas where I can get a credit which will offset. And every company has to look for a strategy, tailored plan, where they can ensure that the gap between what is reported under the previous accounting principles and what you are going to report as per the new trend in the financial reporting, the gap has been narrowed down or it is almost nil. So that is the reason why I am saying it is not an accounting change. Maybe with all these things, what is coming out as a crux of that is normally we get caught on two accounts. One, we believe that what we consider in our mind as our presumption or our assumption, because people used to say, I thought, I think, I assume, I presumed. These are all the normal things which is happening. In our office, the point which I'm used to say to my team is, you are not expected to say, I thought. If you are thinking like that, or if you assumed certain things, have you verified with the laws and regulations, the financial reporting framework, the other requirement of the regulatory authorities? Have you seen it? Based on which, have you concluded that this is what the solution? If you are not able to find out a solution, have you consulted with your peers? If the peer is not able to give, have you consulted with your senior? Maybe your senior most partner, have you consulted and then took a decision, or you simply jumped to a conclusion? So the major reason why people are get caught is they jump to the conclusion and make an error. That error costs them their complete reputation, sometimes their entire life, which cannot be come back to the original position. Like what I have explained, I was watching, sitting and seeing my own news where I am have been included as one of the person. When I am using the word I'm just sitting into the shoes of the particular CFO, and how he will be able to meet the society, because he has jumped and he is not ethical. There happens the first issue. So jumping to the conclusion is what is not expected as per the new rules of financial reporting. I'm just sharing for a lighter way a small video, and we will debrief. With that, I will close the session. The only point which I wanted to say as the last summary of this is, when we think that we will be able to help without knowing what is happening, jumping to the conclusion will result in a complete damage for the profession. And accordingly, all of us are having the responsibility of developing, giving guidance, and preparing the future generation with ethical values, understanding what is the requirement of the regulatory authorities, adhere to the reporting framework, changes which are happening, which has an impact directly on the financial statement. We are expected to give them a guidance, maybe hand holding them in their baby steps, and that will create a very important and very good and expert professionals who are required to build the nation to the further heights. With that, if there are any questions, I will take the questions, and uh, and I'm very very thankful for giving this excellent opportunity to the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, Coimbatore branch, as well as Karpagam Academy of Higher Education. If there are any questions, I will take those questions. Jalapati sir, if there are any questions, you can actually bring it
Displayed
on
one
the
question,
screen.
sir. We have displayed in one question. Can you able to see?
Yeah. A statement should be factual, but are they preparing as per ethical policies? Some of the examples you have quoted, but majority no. Is it true? What happening is, Amaniyamal, who has asked this question, the expectation is that we should be ethical and give a proper financial statement. Okay. Even if one person is actually going beyond the ethical values, we are giving a guidance by giving a proper education to the people to learn that this is what is required ethically, this is required as per the regulatory authorities. And if we start developing that skill sets, I think at one point of time, what we will see in the financial statement will always be a transparent financial statement, always be an ethical financial statement. This example, I will not say who has done that. I know one of the chartered accountant who is from Chennai, who has given up an audit assignment which is giving him 36 lakhs of annual recurring revenue, just because he found that the management was trying to do certain things. So he has tried to give them the education. When it is not happening, he has decided to step out of that. In fact, the entire work has been completed, so you are not paid for it. So there are people who are highly ethical, and those people will be the role models for people, and that will be making everybody to follow the ethical policies. And we, as the teachers, has to mold the next generation. That is what I wanted to say. Sir, is there any other question, sir?
Yes, sir.
There is
Sir,
one
another
question. Auditors are part of corporates, then why NPA is occurring? Okay. Same question from the same person. The simple policy is, you are taking one sample and don't generalize that particular situation. For example, when we are talking about an audit, we are seeing a case where non-performing asset, why it's happening? Because the management has given a loan to a person who is not capable of repaying it. They have what you call target to have the loans. They have done the loans, and whether he has a repayment capacity or not, that's what it has been not done. I have a very uh, an interesting anecdote. Somebody was not having a house, but there is a person who has to sell housing loan. He went and asked him, "Do you have a house?" He said, "I don't have a house. So I will give you a loan." Then he asked, "Sir, you will be asking me to repay the loan." "Yes, but I will ask only after 5 years." So what about interest? That also we can take it as a funded loan. Do it after 5 years. We will give a moratorium. Everything has been asked. Only one question. Do you have a job? After 5 years, when you came back and you said, boss, you are not paid your arrears. What the other person has said, boss, 5 years you have given me a loan and you said that you will not ask me the repayment. Today, what you will do? We will seize the building or your flat. No problem, because for the past, before the 5 years I was in the platform, again I will go to the platform. What is going to happen? This type of the attitude of people has been wrongly selected, that results in this type of activity. But majority of the cases, the provisions which are required to be made for non-performing assets are taken in the right spirit by majority of the companies, majority of the banks, majority of the financial institutions. And next question is, as we are boycotting the Chinese product, these things also affecting the economy of India, because the manufacturing units are set up in India too. So what are your views? A good point on this. I should actually make two things. If a Chinese investor is moving out of it, four other countries investors are coming and setting up setting up their factory here. You might have seen that Apple iPhones, the entire iPhone manufacturing is being shifted to India. And when you are talking about the TV, Sony TV manufacturing, entire thing is moving to India. Previously, it was in Japan, Chinese, and some of the Chinese setup in India was doing that. Entire thing is now being given to the Indian companies, or the other companies who are setting up their subsidiary here. I believe that if that's what a simple, if one window is closed, there will be a door which will be opened. And I feel that the hinges which you are having could be understood for a temporary period, and over a period of time definitely our industrial policy will take care of this. Yes sir. Very important information, thank you for that. Can one question which is available on the chat box? Can we make the roots of accountancy strong by introducing same at 9th standard as per new education policy? That's one question which has come. Frankly speaking, myself and Jalapati will strongly agree on one point. If you ask me to write the CA examination again, we have our own uncertainty whether we will be qualified. So that is a level of changes which is happening. So where you are burdening the students at the 9th standard itself will be too much, is my personal view, because there should be some maturity to understand the complexity. Even for example, people who are coming directly from 12th standard to do CA, and people who have completed BCom and coming to CA, you can find a little bit of maturity in their approach. So my feeling is, do not give more and more burden to the youngsters. Let them have their own lease of life also, enjoy the life and learn and do it. What is the difference between Indian financial reporting and UK financial reporting? Sir, as of now, the Indian financial reporting is following for listed companies what we call as an IFRS. IFRS based accounting principles came in. We hardly have only 3-4 differences between IFRS and Indian accounting standard, Ind AS. And UK is actually has aligned its accounting standards according to IFRS. They also have some small differences. So if you ask me, 80 to 90% of our accounting principles under Ind AS, maybe I can even go to the extent of saying 95% of the accounting principles are equivalent to what we are following under UK principles as well. And accordingly, the next question which is coming in, what is your opinion on bringing ACCA curriculum in colleges and schools? It is a welcome measure for a simple reason. If your ACCA curriculum is coming in colleges and schools, there will be a lot of exposure which will be given to the students in international accounting principles. That will make them employable not only in India, wherever they are. That will be a very great thing we are talking about. Okay. There is one question. Can we see Atmanirbhar even in CA filed by eliminating Big Four? That is what one of the agenda point with Honorable Prime Minister Mr. Narendra Modi has talked about on a CA day in several years back, some 2 to 3 years back, in 2017, if I'm not wrong, where he wanted to have 8 chartered accountant firms, which are big 8 firms in India, out of which he wanted to have at least 4 Indian firms as the big accounting firm. Whether that will happen, definitely will be happening. It will happen, and the measures are being taken care. For example, in my case also, just to wanted to give that feedback, I was previously a partner in a Big Four. I quit, resigned from a Big Four, and set up my own practice, created an equivalent Indian firm, at least in Chennai, to meet the challenges of this. So even a small chartered accountant like me is thinking like this. When the alignment of Indian chartered accounts are happening, definitely this will also happen. Any other questions, sir?
Sir, next one is the how to read financial statements in case of variations in profit and loss.
Okay. Sir, my suggestion, Praveen sir, my suggestion, this is one of my specialist area. I normally do a regular program for University of Madras. I am in the Board of Studies of University of Madras. I do an annual program on how to read financial statement for all the faculty members as well as for the students who are doing their research. They are research scholars. I used to do that. The reason why we do that is how you can analyze a financial statement when there is a change in the profit and loss account or in the balance sheet. Lot of trend analysis which we will use to do, and that is what I used to say. Based on the trend analysis and variance in profits, whether the variance smells good, we normally do it for a 3-hour session. Maybe any of the colleges which are attending here, when they wanted to do it, we can do along with the Coimbatore chapter of ICAI. We can do that for each and every college. We can actually do that particular session, or maybe for Karpagam Academy of Higher Education also, we can do one program where we can specifically talk about how you can read a financial statement. I will give a simple example. One of the client, before I close it.
First of all, I would like to thank the Vice Chancellor.
Sir, just I will finish this particular comment and then we can go for that. What we felt is that one of the example which we have seen is the client's financial statement has been given for June quarter. When we analyze each expenditure, we analyze as a percentage of sales. We analyze that. Where all the variable expenses are remaining same. There are situations where the depreciation was a little different. When we analyze the depreciation, we have identified that because of Corona, the company has not performed for the entire 3 months in full shift. But the accounting package is throwing out the depreciation for 3-shift depreciation. So this simple variation can be analyzed by means of looking into what is the change which is happening and what is the number it's saying. This is one simple example I am giving. Like that, we have a technique of how to read the financial statement. Jalapati sir, this question we will discuss whatever you are shown in the thing. What is your opinion about commerce syllabus of various universities? Are they enough for commerce students to earn theory and practical knowledge of commerce? Sir, my personal feeling is we have to revisit the commerce syllabus so that the employability of the members can be taken into consideration. The students can be taken into consideration. So the institute is ready to work along with all the colleges. There is an initiative which Jalapati sir has actually taken along with the government of Tamil Nadu. So we can actually part of it. And there are some other questions which is coming in. Maybe what we will do is because of want of time, we will take all these questions, put an answer and send it to the organizers to put it as part of the YouTube channel itself. With that, I make a big thank to my friend Jalapati and the Karpagam Academy of Higher Education, Dean Balaji sir, Dharmaraj sir, and the chairman of Coimbatore branch for an excellent opportunity. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Such a nice, wonderful speech, sir. We have learned a lot of things from your presentation, sir. Now I welcome Dr. Radha, Professor of Management from Karpagam Academy of Higher Education, to deliver vote of thanks. Radha, madam? Yeah.
I think you can conclude, sir. Radha madam, is some network issues there. You can conclude, sir.
Yes,
Sir.
yes, sir. Such an excellent presentation, sir. I would like to thank each one of the pillars of ICAI-Coimbatore branch, Jalapati sir, you, past President Chinnaswamy Ganeshan sir, and Sanmugam sir. And I also thankful to our management and Vice Chancellor, Registrar, Dean, Controller of Examination for giving us an opportunity to organize such a nice program in association with ICAI. And I would like to thank each one of the participants for their active participation in the program. Please join us tomorrow evening by 6 o'clock for the next session. Thank you very much. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Thank you.